protected, and it lasts. It's not ephemeral. It's not fleeting. It doesn't flicker on and off. It abides. It remains with us. When we say, not my way, but God's, we lose nothing. We gain the world because we gain the kingdom of God, which is true peace. There is only one power. We say it every week. There is only one power. When we come to the deep experience that that is true, when we have moved beyond belief, when we have taken a step beyond even faith to the point where we live from that truth, we react from that truth, we know that there is no other power. There is no other power. None. It's an unconditional statement. There is only the power of God. And when we know that on every level of our being and beyond, then there is no fear. And where there is no fear, there is peace. Where there is no fear, there is peace. Regardless of what the facts of the world look like. Regardless of outer appearance. Regardless of circumstance. Where there is no fear, there is peace. And there is healing. So, I have a question for you. Who are the spiritual healers in the world? Do you know? Yes, we all are. I've heard a few of you know. All of you know. You're just shy. We all are. We are all the spiritual healers in the world. Now, you may think, okay, thanks, Dan. It sounds good. You know, I think about that and it feels okay. But how, prove it. Well, I don't know if it will prove it to you, but here's my proof. Bless you. Once you know the truth, once you know that there is only God and nothing else, that there is only that one power, you can never unknow it. Now, you and I'll speak for me, I may lapse some days, or some hours of some days. I may, my awareness that there is only God, it may slip temporarily. It happens to me. Less than it used to, but it happens. But I can never unknow the truth. Once you know the truth, it is yours. And you can never, ever deny it. The only thing that you can do is become a greater expression of the truth and grow a greater dependence upon the truth. So that in every situation, and this is the whole point, I have a little more to say, this is the whole point of today's message, that in every situation you encounter, good, bad, or indifferent, if you live from the awareness consciously, there is only God. It changes everything. It transforms everything. This is the whole teaching. There is only God. And that's what healing's about. That is the very consciousness of healing. The knowing that there is only God. I have been aware of the story of Lazarus for decades. 30 plus decades, 3 plus decades. But it wasn't until this week that the meaning of that story and how it relates to me became apparent to me. I mean, it was a nice story about, Jesus who did something. I'll tell you the story. In case, to remind you or to, if you've never not heard it before, so you know the story. Lazarus was one of Jesus' closest friends. Lazarus was spoken of one as he who you love. And he became gravely ill. And his sisters, Mary and Martha, sent word to Jesus of their brother's condition. Jesus was in another town. And when he heard the news, he said to those with him, he said, this illness will not result in death. So we're not going to leave right now. He waited 2 days, 2 full days before he left for the town of Bethany, where Mary and Martha and Lazarus lived. And so as he was coming up to the entrance of the town, Mary meets him. And he learns that Lazarus has been dead in the tomb for 4 days. 4 days. Mary looks at him and says, if you'd been here, my brother would still be alive. If you had been here. And Jesus said, show me where you've laid him. And they took him to the tomb. And as he beheld the tomb from afar, he began to weep. He wept. And he approached the very entrance of the tomb, which was a cave with a stone lying against it. And he said, remove the stone. And Martha said, no, don't do that. He's been there 4 days. Already there is an odor. And Jesus said, did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God? And they removed the stone. And he cried out, Lazarus, come out. And the dead man came out. His wrists and legs bound in burial cloth, his face covered with a burial napkin. Jesus said, unbind him and let him go. Jesus wept. He wept. Why would he weep? When presumably he knows the end of the story. He knows he's going to bring Lazarus back. And he wept. I believe it's that neither Jesus, nor you, nor I, nor any other mystic or master of spirituality, none of us are exempt from the human experience of this world. We are not exempt. Spiritual understanding does not exempt us from the humanity of life. And so he wept for his friend, dead now 4 days. And this 4-day time period, this had great significance. You see, at that time, it was the common belief in Jewish culture that the soul would hover around the body for 3 days after death. But after 3 days, when the soul would witness the change of color in its face, then the soul would leave for good. And so the fact that Lazarus was dead 4 days meant he was really, really dead. And so even for the true believers, the truest believers that were present, in their hearts they knew it was too late for Lazarus. It was too late. There was no hope. Have you ever felt dead inside? Dead? Felt that it was too late for you? Had the sense that things were so bad in your life, that there was so much decay in your life that no one would even want to be around you? And then someone saw you. Someone saw you. And they said, come out. They saw the Christ in you, the daughter of God in you, the Son of God in you, as you, and they said, come out. And because they saw who you truly are, you were able to see yourself. You were able to come out. Joel Goldsmith calls it rising up the consciousness from the tomb, rising the consciousness from the tomb of mortal self. I love that. I love that image. The tomb of mortal self. What is that tomb? It's the belief in lack, in limitation, and even death. That we are to raise our consciousness up beyond that, beyond the appearance of lack and limitation, of evil, even good. Beyond that, because those are all human, and they have limitations. Not wrong, not bad, but they're limited. They have their use. But their use is not the understanding of the peace and the love of our hearts. It's not the understanding of divine joy. That comes from spiritual consciousness, healing consciousness. What is this, this power of God we're talking about? Do you see the lightning bolts in my hands? Do you see them? Nope. Not those. That power of God upon which I say we are to rely, the power of God, there's only one power. It's not a power to be used at all. See, there's a common belief, and you may not hold it, but some people hold the belief that if they could just get enough God power, accumulate enough God power, that they'd have their God club, and they could use God as a club to whack evil and sickness and maybe even stupidity up the head. But you see, God power isn't a club, and it's not a sword. It's not even a lightning bolt, although it looks great in the movies. God is not a power to be used at all. God is the very presence of your being. God is the very presence of your being. And as such, you need only bear witness to the presence of God in you and in everyone else. So how do you discern a healing consciousness? You do it by being a healer. You do it by claiming your rightful role. You are a healer. Say that with me. I am a healer. Again, I am a healer. And you are. You are, because you know the highest truth, and you can never unknow it. Wherever you go, whatever you do, whatever experiences you have in life, you will know that there is only God. And now, what does a healing consciousness feel like? Join hands. It feels divinely, purely, completely connected. Now I ask, look at your hands. Where do you end and the other begins? In the sight of God. Nowhere. That is the consciousness of healing.